them. They were waiting for propane this morning when I was there. But I mean, the ground, everything was good. I mean,
Now that you're
I
done
walked
with that
up
puzzle,
with
it's coming tomorrow.
yeah. Yeah, I
Couple weeks.
water through circle.
We're going in office. We're going at home.
Dave brought in pallets
How long you been down in town?
the other day.
In office.
I went back today to see how. Volkov.
Changed departments.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, so yeah,
but
yeah, she's out on it.
Turner Construction is the.
I used to be with DOT, which is,
But that guy got, kids got hit.
But I never saw anything like that.
Yeah, walk with,
yeah,
You're running through the concrete footing.
he is. But his,
kid got hit.
he got hit on
What did I
Everett,
run in hose for? And then I
T-bone on Everett.
saw that it's going to this unit.
He got hit.
You know, they were waiting, they told me they were waiting for the project. I walked there the other day with the project engineer and the project manager. I feel like an idiot. We're walking, I'm taking pictures. You know, the snow's pretty deep, right?
I'm waiting to get
I
the
go on
cat.
my right foot. And I'm gonna go a little fill up, take a better picture.
Spend it.
I went down.
Picked up
I felt more embarrassed than anything.
Facebook. No, Massachusetts.
It was soft, right?
Drive out there, drive around, plates on it. Trying to get it.
It was something to see that tubing for heating, something. It must be costing them a fortune. Doing all that.
It's gonna circulate fast, especially in this cold too.
Yeah, I can't stop.
What was that, like 1 inch?
Maybe not 1 inch, but the inside was 3/4.
Yeah, still no. Yeah.
Well, especially,
I decided this week was
they're
a
just
week,
starting today, I don't know if they.
week of Mondays. Yeah.
See,
What I'm seeing is they gotta bring it up to 40 degrees. Stupid, like that. Before they pour, they gotta bring that up.
Should say the water.
They're on schedule.
Yeah.
Oh, they're waiting. Of course, you know, and the snow.
We're supposed to get some snow tomorrow and Saturday, 2 to 4, I think. Is
Tomorrow night.
Saturday.
Stop working on the gas
Yeah.
station. Stop working on the gas
I
station.
never saw so much snow on my roof in 24 hours.
No,
No, it's just.
my tractor had the same snow in the hub since I plowed. In the garage, it's in the garage. It didn't melt off.
I took my plow to the car wash. I had a.
Okay, I'd like to bring this meeting to order for the Town of Brunswick Planning Board for February 5th, 2026. If everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, our agenda this evening is as follows. This was posted on the town website and the town board. Number 1, Paramount Building Group, major subdivision. Applicant proposes a major subdivision on 31.92 acre parcel of land, as well as construct a new road with a cul-de-sac and a water line extension on property located on the northeast corner of Spring Avenue and Crick Road. There will be a public hearing to commence at 7 p.m. Paramount Building Group of New York is the applicant. Number 2, Tranquility Bookshop. Site plan and special use permit. Applicant seeks site plan approval and a special use permit to modify an existing residential structure into a bookstore on property located at 902 Hoosick Road. Tranquility Bookshop LLC is the applicant. Number 3, Monacup. waiver of subdivision. Applicant seeks to divide 1.18 acres of land from a 19.5 acre parcel to create a new lot on property located at 19 Miller Lane. Robert Monacup is the applicant. Number 4, Kyle Smith, site plan and special use permit. Applicant seeks site plan approval and a special use permit to complete construction on a 2-story building on property located at 1691 New York State Route 7. Kyle Smith is the applicant. Number 5, National Grid, site plan and special use permit. Applicant seeks site plan approval and a special use permit for the construction and operation of an energy transfer station on property located at 1278 Spring Avenue. National Grid is the applicant. We received an email today from National Grid, and they wish to be taken off the agenda tonight. They are working on the response to the engineer's comments and the associated plan revisions, but also taking some time to consider/review the feedback that they have received on the project to date. So they are no longer on our agenda tonight. They will be placed on a future agenda with no tentative date at this point. And finally, number 6, Fisher Minor Subdivision. Applicant seeks minor subdivision approval on subdivision to subdivide an 82.17 acre parcel into 3 new lots on property located at 842 Tamarack Road. Rebecca Fisher is the applicant. Just as a note, we establish our agendas as of the end of working hours on Friday. Any new applications are put on our agenda under new business for the next meeting. And that's when we, on Monday morning, we publish the agenda. So any changes to the agenda after Monday, unfortunately, we could, I guess, put a second notice on the town website, but I would suggest that if you have a particular project in mind, in this case possibly National Grid, that you check with the building department the day before or the day of our meeting to make sure that they're on the agenda. Okay, with that being said, we do have a public hearing to start with. And this is the public hearing for the Paramount Building Group. This is a major subdivision. I'll read the procedure for the public hearing. The purpose of the public hearing is to hear concerns, comments, and views from the general public regarding a particular proposal or application. All public hearings are electronically recorded and a written record of the proceedings is generated. In most cases, this written record is included with the minutes of the planning board regular meeting, which is usually conducted immediately after the public hearing. The applicant will be required to respond to all concerns, comments made at the public hearing, and subsequently, the planning board will consider all these concerns and comments when evaluating the application to ensure that the applicant has addressed all the issues in question. The public hearing will be conducted as follows. The notice of public hearing will be read by the planning board attorney. Next, the applicant will give a brief presentation on the proposal and will provide any updates on the application. Upon completion of the applicant's remarks, the chairman of the planning board will recognize persons from the public, and these individuals be allowed to speak and offer their concerns, comments, and views. Since the proceedings of the public hearing are electronically recorded, it is requested that all speakers step forward and use the microphone at the podium. All speakers should give their name and address for the record. Before we start, I would like to say that we have received before the public hearing a series of letters, comments, presentation, so to speak, on this project. And I would like to make sure that those are placed on the record for the public hearing. I believe the applicant has received copies of these. I briefly will go through. I think we also received several tonight. Okay. These would include the ones I had prior, dated 12/18/25 from Tim Gilchrist of 160 or 186 Crick Road. One dated January 15th, 2026. Once again from Tim Gilchrist. I believe this was a supplement to that. One also dated January 15th. Oop, that's the same one. Sorry, apologize for that. Dated the 30th of January from Judy and Chuck Rancourt at 313 Carroll's Grove Road. One dated January 20th, 2026 from George and Mary Reed of 27 Crick Road. And one dated February 3rd, 2026 from Patty Sorega, located at 9 Oak Tree Lane. And these will all be submitted for the record of the public hearing. Those individuals can come up and speak if they wish. Once they, yeah. And then today we received, which two did we receive today, Wendy?
There was another one from Tim Gilchrist, and Nigel is the last name of the request.
Okay, there was one from,
Sarah Knightson.
yes, Sarah Neitzel. And then this one is I believe
Tim and Catherine Gilchrist.
the recap of all the,
I'm
one
not sure.
from,
I'm not sure if it's a recap or if it's just another one.
at any rate, these will all be submitted to the applicant for his review and comment. When we receive letters before the public hearing, they are basically addressed to the planning board. They're shared by members of the planning board to review and take from those letters information that would be vital in asking questions to the applicant at the time. We do not share these with the applicant before the public hearing. However, I believe they could foil them if they wish. Okay, with that being said, I will now turn the floor over to our attorney, and he will read the public notice.
The notice of public hearing was duly published in the newspaper, posted to the town clerk's bulletin board, and posted to the town's website as follows. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the planning board of the town of Brunswick at 7 p.m. on Thursday, February 5th, 2026. Brunswick Town Hall, 336 Town Office Road, Brunswick, New York, 12180, to review the major subdivision application submitted by Paramount Building Group of New York for the Colton Ridge subdivision located at the northeast corner of Spring Avenue and Creek Road, tax map number 13-6-29, consisting of 18 residential lots on a 31.92 acre parcel. Copies of the application are available at the Town of Brunswick Hall and are available for public inspection during regular business hours. All interested persons will be heard at the public hearing.
Thank you. Okay, I'll have the applicant come up and give a presentation. You have it flipped towards the audience, I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Matt Bond with Hart Engineering here on behalf of Paramount Building Group. We're here to present a proposed 18-lot subdivision in the town of Brunswick. So this is a 32-acre parcel that is located at the intersections of Spring Road and Creek Road. This is north, just for those of you looking at the map here. There's a 5-acre parcel on the west side of Creek Road, and the remaining section of the parcel is on the east side of the road. What we are proposing, as I said, is a 18-lot subdivision, 17 lots on the east side of the road, 1 lot on the west side of the road. Proposing a new town roadway to be dedicated to the town, meets all town code requirements. 17 lots will be serviced from that road. This lot will have an individual driveway. There is public water available here at the intersection of Creek and Spring, so we're proposing a water main extension here where the new road will connect, and that will follow down the road with fire hydrants for fire protection. As there's no sanitary sewers available in this area, they will be on-site septic systems for each of these lots. Stormwater management is designed in accordance with New York State Department of Environmental Conservation requirements. It meets all requirements of New York State. Here's a stormwater management area that's going to handle the bulk of the stormwater from this project. There are wetlands indicated on the site. We're not proposing any impacts to those wetlands, and there's really no other public utilities being extended here. So that's pretty much the project. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now I'll open up the floor to the public who would like to come up and make some comments.
I'm Tim Gilchrist, and seeing my name has been mentioned several times, I thought I'd start. I'm Tim Gilchrist, 186 Creek Road. I want to thank you for the opportunity to provide comment on the Colton. There used to be a Ridge here subdivision on Creek and Spring Avenue. As mentioned earlier, my wife Kathy and I have submitted detailed comments detailing our concerns with the board's environmental documents. And it is in addition to my prior written comments because it's based on a review of the documents and the accompanying attachments. So I'll be very quick tonight about why I believe this has a major environmental impact, and that's what should be the finding of the board. Something the consultant didn't mention was that this proposal requires the removal of 420,000 cubic yards of material. And that's hard to conceptualize how much that material is, but their transportation analysis helps you. When you do the math, because they never use the total number of trucks, it'll take 21,000 large dump trucks, fully loaded with 20 yards of material to remove all of that material. An equal number will be required to return to the site. That is adding 42,000 trucks over 1 or 2 years to Creek Road and Spring Avenue extension. And that is proposed over 1 to 2 years, with the 1 year being 304 days a year for 9 hours a day. Somewhere between 8 and 18 trucks per hour. The project removes 1,235 truckloads of soil for every house on the cul-de-sac. What other project in Brunswick has ever moved that amount of soil for that number of houses? It might be a short-term project, but it's a long-term impact, and it's not a small impact. Despite the project was considered logical by the town's planning engineer, it doesn't make it a small impact. And there'll be a lasting impact because Creek Road and Spring Avenue extension are both posted for trucks with no trucks over 10 tons. These trucks will weigh up to 40 tons and a permit will be required. Ask a pavement engineer. The impact of this many trucks can be devastating to the pavement, resulting in the shoulder failure, rutting, cracking, and potholes. And I should tell you, I worked for DOT for over 30 years and was in charge of asset management, understanding the impact on the highways. The county taxpayers, which are all of us, are going to pay the bill. The county recently repaved Creek Road, and they will need to rebuild it again. On Spring, there's a blind curve approaching Creek Road. Can you imagine a carload of kids coming around that curve and coming upon a fully loaded truck trying to make a left turn shifting gears. A detailed analysis is needed to prove that the 42,000 trucks do not create a safety hazard. There's not a high accident rate there because there's not 42,000 trucks going through that intersection. And at the end of the 2 years, what will be on the site? The knob on the hill will be down and the ridge will be lowered and there'll be a road and on water line, but no houses. How long until the houses are built? The proposal does not include that information, but go around the corner to Sharp Road and take a look and see what's going on there. This is a gravel mine hiding behind a cul-de-sac. The town board approved the 17-home cul-de-sac above the normal limits of 12 home before the amount of soil to be removed was revealed by the applicant. They should rescind that approval without an analysis of the impact, and we request they do that action. The planning board should find this project to have a major impact in the areas of impact in land and the impact on transportation. Say goodbye to one of the rolling hills of Brunswick if this project goes forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Neitzel. I live at the intersection of Creek Road and Spring Avenue, 1423 Spring Avenue. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I am a lifelong resident of the town of Brunswick, and I am here on behalf of my family, including my 1-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son and elderly father, all of whom have 7 p.m. bedtimes, so they couldn't come with me, to strongly object to the Carlton Ridge proposal by the Paramount Building Group of New York. My comments tonight are an outline of my objections, which are further detailed in my written comments. 1, this project is a mine, not a subdivision. The project is being inaccurately described as a subdivision when the proposed activity is in fact a mine by both the New York State Department of Conservation and the town of Brunswick's definitions of a mine. The applicant is attempting to circumvent the requirement of a DEC mining permit by calling this mining, quote, incidental to a construction project. There is nothing incidental about the removal of more than 400,000 cubic yards of material over 2 years. The DEC's definition of an incidental removal is capped at 750 cubic yards of material per year. This proposal exceeds the DEC's definition of an incidental removal by 199,250 cubic yards, which is 266.6 times the DEC's definition of incidental. Per the town of Brunswick's own definitions in its zoning law, this proposal is also a mine. The town defines, quote, excavation as part of site preparation as extraction or removal of material that is clearly incidental to the approved building construction and or both integral to the implementation of an approved site development plan or subdivision plat and necessary for improving the property for use permitted in the zoning district in which the property is located. The proposed mining activity far exceeds any clearly incidental excavation, as the activity exceeds DEC's definition of permitted incidental removal, again, by 266.6 times. Further, while the site does indeed have an incline, there is no reasonable conclusion that this level of mining is required for future use of the site as a permitted use per the town zoning law. 2. Spring Avenue and Creek Road will experience extreme wear and tear, and the cost of the inevitable and necessary repairs will fall squarely on the taxpayers' shoulders. The applicant's traffic study reveals that between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m., 8 to 10 trucks per hour will come and go from this site for 2 years. This increases to 16 to 18 trucks per hour if the applicant follows a 1-year mining schedule. This volume further supports the fact that this mining is clearly not incidental, but rather an unpermitted use. Additionally, such heavy use of Brunswick's roads by trucks loaded with 27 tons of gravel will inevitably result in damage to those roads. 27 tons, or 54,000 pounds of gravel, plus the weight of the truck equates to a total weight exceeding 80,000 pounds, or 40 tons, traveling on Spring Avenue and Creek Road between 8 and 18 times per hour for 1 to 2 years. These trips will occur 6 days per week and will only stop for 8 days a year. Creek Road has a maximum weight limit of 10 tons. Such heavy use of these roads will undoubtedly result in severe wear and tear, but there has been no discussion by this board or the applicant of responsibility to repair such damage and no discussion of an escrow of funding for this purpose. Such damage should be the responsibility of the applicant and should not fall on the shoulders of the taxpayers. 3, the town's environmental consideration was incorrect. At the planning board meeting on November 20th, 2025, there was extensive discussion about the moderate to large impact of this project, including the extent of the excavation, the irreversible conversion of more than 2.5 acres of agricultural land in an agricultural district, and the duration of the project. Despite these concerns, the planning board issued a negative declaration under SECRA at their January 15th, 2026 meeting. The serious concerns raised at the November meeting were ignored and others were never considered. Neither an air quality analysis nor community air monitoring were conducted or even mentioned by the applicant. In addition, the noise sampling submitted by the applicant was done on subpar, uncalibrated, and non-regulatory compliant equipment, a Google Pixel 8 smartphone. It is of further note that despite water being called mining's most common casualty, there has been no study of the impact on the property's state and federal wetlands, and no study of the impact to show that my well and my neighbor's wells will not be impacted by the mining. The possible loss and contamination of groundwater threatens the safety of my family and of my neighbors. I would hate for the children, elderly, and others in the neighboring areas to end up with airborne illnesses or water contamination as a result of this negligence. Exposing residents to potential unknown airborne risks and water contamination creates a health risk to the community and a liability to this town. We do not want to be poisoned. Our neighbors in Hoosick Falls are all too familiar with that reality. 4, this project will permanently alter the agricultural and low-density residential status of the town of Brunswick. This area is a Zone A40 district, which allows for low-density residential and agricultural development. The town's zoning law requires that, quote, development within this district should seek to protect open space, the town's rural character, and agricultural resources from the negative impacts in accordance with the town's comprehensive plan. Furthering this point, the town's comprehensive plan states that low-density residential and agricultural area development should be guided by the overall desire to preserve and protect the town's rural character as well as its various natural resources, and that the town should consider environmental impacts. The level of mining activity and development proposed is not in the spirit of these goals, and the town will no longer have any measure of rural character if this is allowed to proceed. The A40 and agricultural overlay zones erroneously exclude minimum lot size, but the next zone to require moderate density residential development specifically states that the minimum lot size is 25,000 square feet or approximately 0.57 acres. It can therefore be assumed that the lots of 25,000 square feet or close thereto are considered to be moderate density. The proposed lots in this subdivision vary in size from 0.9 acres to over 2.719 acres, but the vast majority of the proposed lots are approximately 1 acre. By moving forward with this proposal, the board is determining that the proposed 1 acre lot size will be the standard and precedent for future development in low density districts. This is surprising, as the next lot size, defined lot size in the Brunswick zoning law is for moderate density residential districts at 0.57 acres per lot. The proposed subdivision, which should be considered second and apart from the mining proposal, has proposed lots for low density districts that are not even double a moderate density lot size per the town's own zoning law. Apparently, the town does not believe there is any difference between a moderate, a low to moderate, and a low density development, and this sets a terrible precedent for future proposals. If allowed to proceed, all of the town's agricultural zones could be developed into approximately 1 acre lots after they are aggressively mined for years. I have called Brunswick my home for over 30 years, and my family has lived here for generations. I grew up on this land and love the town so much that I decided to raise my children here. I never thought I would be standing here because I never thought that my beloved town would let this get so far. My family and I strenuously object to this proposal and the town's consideration of it. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to come up?
Hi, Mary Ellen Adams, 18 Cooper Avenue, Troy, Brunswick. I don't live adjacent or on that side of Brunswick, but I've been at enough planning board meetings and I've listened to a lot about this project. And two things really strike me. And I respect so much that these folks before me had the actual numbers, because I heard all different numbers, and because I don't live there, I guess I don't pay that much attention. But one that I brought up was, that I want to bring up, is the concern about the truck traffic. I've heard varying numbers, and I'm guessing the ones that people before me presented are the most accurate ones. And it just seems to me that I've not heard any mechanism within the plans where the developers do have an escrow account or something to repair the damage that is going to happen, because it's inevitable. It's common sense that when you have a weight limit of 10 tons and you're putting this amount of tonnage, this number of days a week, this many times an hour, that the roads are going to be destroyed, and it's going to be repetitively destroyed. There's no way over 18 months or 2 years that the roads can sustain it. So if this project were to move forward, I think for the protection of the residents that drive those roads, the commuters that drive those roads, and the town financially, there has to be some mechanism that the developer puts money aside for the repair, and not a one-time repair. But I would expect with that kind of wear and tear, you're going to be repairing it multiple times over a year, because I don't know how the road can sustain that. I think of what our roads sustain just from normal road car traffic. The second is the phenomenal amount of gravel, dirt, whatever that's being removed. I guess I don't understand how that's not mining when you talk about that large of numbers and it doesn't have a major environmental impact. I defer to the experts that know more statistics about that, but to me, it's pretty obvious that there has to be an environmental impact from that. And then you put new septics in there, the water, the wetlands. It just seems, I don't understand how you cannot call that a mining thing. I mean, you can rephrase things different ways, that it's to the benefit of a development, but when you take that much dirt out of a limited area, I think that's mining in many, many ways, as the woman before me explained. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to share comments on this hearing. My name is Jeremy Hurst. My wife and I own property at 82 Creek Road, the property immediately adjoining this proposed subdevelopment. We share the largest contiguous boundary with this property, and the wetland that's on the northwest corner of this property contiguous with ours, and it continues across our property. While I generally bemoan the permanent loss of our open space to major subdivisions, I don't begrudge Mr. Wendell the opportunity to use his land according to the law, and as long as the wetland that we share is protected. As he was developing this site plan, we discussed the potential for him to reserve some space that could provide an access off the new proposed road to our property. And so I would have liked to see this site map include that. As you can tell, it does not. And so I would just ask consideration that lots 4 through 7 be modified to include perhaps a quarter-acre access point for our potential use into our property. Inclusion of this lot would not impact Mr. Wendell's proposal, but would allow us to have access, dry access to the upland portion of our property. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Sue Vitolins, 10 Miller Road.
Sue, could you kind of move that up and see if, okay.
Can you hear me better now?
Well, I think the video was probably.
Doesn't seem to want to stay. I'll just hold it. 10 Miller Road, Sue Vitolins. So I live around the corner from this. And my concern is, I mean, everything that people have said, I wholeheartedly agree with. The amount they're taking out, the truck traffic, the roads, the environmental impact. But so what's the recourse 2 years from now? They take all this gravel out and things happen. Now we're not going to develop it. So then what happens? So the developers have a plan to put these 18 lots, houses up, but what if they change their mind? And then we're left with a big gravel pit on the corner of Spring and Creek Road.
Hi, my name is Ruth Page. I live at 47 Creek Road. So my house is here. And this is a view I see from my front door. And my well is only 60 feet deep. And I'm pretty sure it's going to pollute it. The amount of water alone, just the runoff from the road, will flood my lawn. My house will probably flood every single time it rains. We have dogs. We've lived there 13 years. We just got married a year ago. We plan to have children. I am absolutely terrified of this project. And I'm not as smart as these people, but we're hardworking people, and we just really are scared.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kate Mons. I live at 35 Creek Road, and I appreciate the opportunity here. I want to echo all of what my neighbors and community members have already said about their concerns about this. It was really well researched, and I really appreciate their time to try to make right for our community. What I wanted to add is that from my understanding of what I've reviewed and my home, which is right across the street from there, is that this project doesn't align with Brunswick's comprehensive plan. Scenic beauty and rural lifestyle were what brought me and my family to this area. We've relocated here with our parents who are aging and want to enjoy this time with them. And that seemed to be my understanding from reading that comprehensive plan, what was reported as the most important aspect of people who live in Brunswick. And so flattening that corner parcel of land, mining that area and making that entranceway to our community is just the antithesis of what was reported in that plan and what drew me and my family and what I'm hearing my neighbors wanting to see in their homes. Again, contrary to what the application states and what some other people have said, there will be a substantial increase to traffic during the construction and afterwards, should they decide to actually build on that land. That proposed road is just after the bend on Creek Road. People excel rather quickly on that, and now you're going to have a potential of 17 additional cars minimum entering and exiting that on a regular basis as people are turning onto Creek Road and accelerating on that speed, on that road. And it's just going to be a foreseeable problem that concerns me. The application also said that land was not used for any agricultural purposes within the last 3 years, and that's just factually inaccurate. That land was used for hay in the time in that last 3 years. So again, it's just when I see factually inaccurate things with the application, that's a red flag. And I'm not saying that that's the only one, but that is one that I'm bringing up. I'm also concerned about the additional light pollution in the water that other neighbors have said, what is that going to do to our well? This proposed land is going to be tapped into the town water, but we all have wells. And what is the impact of the groundwater on our homes and our families and our needs to live a healthy lifestyle in our own homes? Additional, I don't know if my math is correct. There was a lot of talk about the traffic and the impact of that. But if my math is correct, based on what I understand, every 7.5 minutes, there will be a truck coming or going from that property for 9 hours a day, 6 days a week for 2 years. That is incredible. 7.5 minutes. Every 7.5 minutes, there is going to be a truck coming or going from that site just to flatten out a beautiful rolling hillside. That is the character of Brunswick. And I also want to just add that what people have already noted about the weight limit of Creek Road in the application, it said that they don't know actually, to my knowledge anyways, maybe they can be spoken to, but there is no destination for all of this earth in this land that is going to be removed from there. So nobody actually knows where it's going. Nobody knows what direction it's going to be going in. I believe I read in the application that Sharp Road is not an option. So that leaves Creek, which has a weight limit, along the Poston Kill and what is going to be not only the impact on the integrity of that road, but what is that going to do to the river? What is that going to do to our lands that are accompanying that? That is a significant concern. And I also just want to echo the apparent, what looked to me to be the calculated avoidance of responsibility of avoiding the permit by the DEC for the mining. It is a mining land reclamation, and I do believe from what I read that the application is intentionally trying to avoid the responsibility for public health related to that. And that is what this is under the guise of a development. And I do urge the planning board not to accept this proposal for all of the reasons that are stated here today. I believe Brunswick is a better place without this development. And I thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Ellen Montiel, McChesney Avenue Extension. Thank you for the opportunity to provide comments. I've heard discussions about this project for the meetings since May 2025. During that time, the planning board brought up many environmental concerns, and although the applicant had a response for all of them, I was surprised to hear the adoption of the negative declaration. In my opinion, many of the planning board's concerns remain valid and were not shown to be unfounded. This includes Environmental Assessment Form Part 2, Item 1D, Impact on Land, which asks if the proposed action involves the excavation and removal of more than 1,000 tons of natural material. It's marked as no or small impact instead of moderate to large impact. This item is cited in the letter received by the board from the applicant in December. The letter explains, as per New York State DEC, projects that have small impacts excavate small quantities of natural material on an infrequent seasonal basis or result in limited excavation in support of site construction. That's small quantities, limited excavation. Projects that are moderate to large impacts affect nearby water wells and large excavations that have potential impacts such as noise, air pollution, and visual impacts. That's large excavations, noise, air, pollution impacts. The applicant's letter explains how the project has to be considered to have a small impact. That's what the applicant is saying, but I disagree. First, the amount of material cited by DEC as a cutoff is 1,000 tons. I couldn't find the estimate of tonnage for the project in the project records. And as a side note, I think regardless, the applicant should have to provide the volume in tons, since that is deemed by DEC a critical figure. A conservative estimate come up with by one of our neighbors is 525,000 tons, over 5 times what DEC is considering a significant cutoff of 100,000 tons. 5 times that. How can 5 times over that be considered a small to no impact? Also, of course, the mining project will certainly create noise and air pollution and contamination to wells. The fact that proposed excavation is limited, which the applicant calls it, to what is necessary. They're saying it's limited because they're only excavating what is necessary to construct safe and passable roads and safe building sites. Does not make it a limited excavation. That's not a limited amount of excavation. Again, I don't see how a quantity 5 times the amount DEC considers as a cutoff can be anything other than moderate to large impact. And finally, I understand the project includes both mining and construction of a subdivision. I'd like to suggest that if this project proceeds, that the applicant be required to return the parcel to a state as close as possible to its current condition in the event that after the mining is complete, the subdivision is in fact not constructed. Thank you very much.
Nora Vitolins Rulier, 653 Church Street. This is my first town planning board that I've been to, even though I've been a lifelong Brunswick resident. The location that I currently live at is the location that I was born in. I inherited my parents' home and I continue to live there. I just wanted to share something from some personal experience that I recall from when I was a small child. I'm not sure if anyone here knows or remembers, but the property where the Spring Landing subdivision currently on Spring Avenue Extension, where that exists, used to be a gravel mine. I remember as a small child, when they were mining actively in this location, the constant cloud of dust and the continual noise that came from the excavation process. Now, we've talked about some of the DEC requirements, but I don't think there's been enough focus that's been placed on the quality of life that results during the 9 hours a day, 6 days a week, where things are being actively mined. True about the trucks, Spring Avenue is a dangerous road. That is a concern, as well as Crick Road. However, for the people who live in that area, all right, the amount of dust and exposure to the constant noise, 9 hours a day, 6 days a week, can be unbearable. I live in a location that's probably about a mile away from where that Spring Avenue landing site was. I can't imagine what the people who were going to be experiencing this, if it does get approved, will have to endure for 2 years, making it an unbearable experience to continue to live here. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Patricia Oliaga. I live at 16 Pleasant View Avenue in Brunswick. I have concerns about this proposed development. I don't think that it is being planned in a logical manner. I have to commend my neighbor on Menemsha, who recently sold several parcels of land and transformed our area a little bit, but just a little bit, not like this. And if this was going in without the mining, I don't think you'd be hearing all this craziness. But this mining that has to happen, this what they're proposing, taking out all of this soil, gravel, whatever it is that they're going to be doing, to think that it's not going to affect the environment is ludicrous. It has to affect the environment. The woman that just spoke before me about the Spring Avenue extension, the Spring Landing area, those folks have well problems because of it. I note that this proposal is going in with a water extension. They want to run the pipe that goes out to Posting Hill over into this development for these folks eventually, which means that there's going to have to be a water management area created or something like that, because we don't have that. I mean, I don't have the privilege of tapping into town water right now. I bet you none of the folks behind me do either. We've all got wells. And wells are okay, but they're not great. They do go dry sometimes. So, you know, I really hope you think about all this stuff. I think my neighbors have talked about a lot of things a lot more eloquently than I have, but I really do think that the whole mining part of this is really atrocious and needs to be reconsidered and, rethink these plans for development. This is not what Brunswick is supposed to be looking like and changing. This is not a good way to change. Change is positive. It's great. We can grow. That's fine. But let's do it in a logical, sensible, environmentally positive way. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Jim.
Good evening. Jim Tachnik, 387 Brunswick Road. I was wondering whether the applicant has offered continuation of the public water to the neighbors in this area. And the reason I ask that is that, you're going to have, I'm not a geologist, I'm not a hydrologist, but from the amount of the topographical changes going to happen here, there's going to be vast changes in the hydrology, right? And in addition to that, you've got 17, 18 houses, posh houses with nice lawns, lawn chemicals. There's a road going through there, salt, and all this is going to be put into the groundwater, right? So if they haven't offered to do this ahead of time, maybe they have to set up a contingency for, within 5 years or so after the completion of the project, if there's contamination of these wells. And I made the same point with the Sharp Road extension project, when they extended the water line there. And they gave water to the new residents that were in Brunswick and also into North Greenbush, but they wouldn't give any water to the neighbors. And I think that's a major fault. I think we should develop a principle of if something's coming into the neighborhood like this, it's going to create, if not hardship, at least some trouble, right? You should at least reward the neighbors with something, okay? Give them the option to tap into the water system, right? Now, the other thing is, you talk about the gravel trucks going on Creek Road. Where are they going to go? What's the path of these? I've been coming to the planning board meetings, and they talk about several options, and it hasn't been defined yet. For example, are those trucks going to go to Brunswick Road, to Route 2? I don't know. I don't know if a path's been determined or not. I live on Route 2, and I don't want another how many a day? I can't remember what the calculation was. But there's enough gravel trucks now on Route 2. We don't need any more. Right? And once again, it's just going to rip up the roads. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, we've covered quite a.
Can I speak, sir?
Sure.
Kenneth Voland, Voland Organization. I own property just adjacent to this. I'd like to give the board an inspection of my map. I'm going to cut it. I'm cutting in a road to, pardon me, sir, for residents, for myself. And I thought that I'd like it on the record. I thought if this does get approved, it would be beneficial for emergency vehicles for both of our roads to link up. I wanted to put it on the record to show you.
That's fine. If you want to, give the building department some copies of this.
Certainly,
I
sir.
think you're talking about a different
It's
situation.
in Postingkill. I'm coming in from Postingkill, but my lot for my residents will be in Brunswick.
Okay.
I thought it would benefit, both parties in the town. Emergency vehicles would have more than one way in and out if it does get approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we've covered quite a bit of material here as far as the issues at hand. We've talked about quite a bit about the gravel removal and truckloads, traffic. We've covered a lot of things regarding wells, possibly bonding for road reconstruction, and numerous other things. Is there anything that anybody has that they wish to bring up in addition to these topics that have been brought up? I think they've been brought up in quite a bit of detail. I think they cover a lot of people's concerns. But is there anything else that anybody wishes to make mention? The floor is still open to the public. Okay, there's no one else who wishes to come up? All right, then I will now close this public hearing. I will have a motion to close it. Is there any second on that? Do I have a second?
I'd like to allow for continuation of the written comments.
Okay. That could be a condition of the. Does everybody agree with that? That there be an extended period of, say, another 7 days to 10 days to receive written comment?
Just to clarify, you're proposing 7 days, 10 days?
I would say a week to 7 days.
We just need to be specific, so whatever.
Yeah.
Fine, I want to make sure everybody knows what it is.
I would say with the motion, an extension of 7 days.
Motion to close the public hearing, but allow the submission of additional written comment for 7K.
Correct. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any further discussion on that? Does everybody agree that we should close the public hearing with that condition? Okay, then I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we've now concluded the public hearing. We are now going to start on our agenda. And our first item on the agenda is Paramount. Okay, you've heard quite a bit of detailed comments as far as in particular, the mining aspect of this whole project. I'm going to turn the floor over to you guys.
So, evening board, TJ Ruane, law firm of Whiteman, Osterman and Hanna. I'm the project attorney here with Matt Bond, as spoke earlier. I imagine that it's going to be the board's intent to have us respond in writing to all of the comments.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, and we will do that, and we'll wait for the comment period to end of the 7 days. We can reach out to Kathy, get all of those comments, and we will respond in writing to all the comments. Just a few points that I wanted to cover this evening. I know there was a lot of discussion. A lot of the points that were raised mirror some of the points and initial concerns that the board had. So a lot of this stuff we have been able to address and work with the town's engineer to address, discuss sort of in detail with the town. One of the things that I wanted to make clear to the public is, there was a lot of discussion tonight about whether this is a mine or, essentially the purpose of it is a mine and then it's just a subdivision to cover up the mine. It's just simply factually and legally just not true. This doesn't meet the definition of a mine under the town code, nor does it meet the definition of a mine under New York State law. So DEC permits, any mine needs a DEC permit. So anybody who has property can remove up to 750 cubic yards from their property for whatever reason you want to do. Either you're leveling or you're putting up a structure or anything like that. Everybody has that right. Anything over that requires a permit unless you are doing the excavation for purposes of construction project, which is what's happening here. This was one of the initial concerns of the board. We talked about it in detail. We reached out to DEC multiple times. We had DEC and the town come out to the site. We walked the entire site, walked them through our entire plan, walked them through the phasing of the project, the removal of the material, stormwater, wetlands, and DEC agreed that this does not require, this is not a mine. This is simply site excavation for purposes of building residences in the town of Brunswick, all of which the people who spoke here tonight have the benefit of owning houses in Brunswick. All of those houses have to be built. These houses have to be built as well. The second issue is traffic. The town had some concerns initially about how much traffic is going to be generated by this project. So we, instead of estimating it, we hired professional consultants who worked with and prepared a report, which we submitted to the town. Town's engineer reviewed that report. We had it updated to go over different timelines. So if this took 2 years, what would it look like? If it took 1.5 years, what it would look like? If it took a year, what it would look like? And what the traffic engineers found is that both Creek Road and Spring Road right now are subject to almost 2,000 vehicles per day. And at peak hour, those roads are rated to hold 1,000 vehicles in a peak hour. Right now, they're at about 200. So adding 16 vehicles to those roads is virtually no impact at all. I'd like to remind everybody that I know there's concerns about the roads being kept up and who's going to maintain those roads. These are county roads. So the county governs that by putting a weight limit on the road. If you exceed that weight limit, you have to go to the county to get a permit. Those permit fees pay essentially for the program. This is the county has already determined. They've already looked at this. So when they issue permits for overweight trucks, the county is already considering that into their math on maintaining roads. So, every aspect of this project is going to be permitted. Another thing that came up, and we can talk about this in more detail in our response to written comments, is contamination. I don't understand the references to the PFAS contamination that occurred in other municipalities. Or any other type of contamination, air, water quality, or otherwise, is just simply not true. This is just a removal of soil and excavation. So I don't see how just simply saying there's going to be contamination really, it's just simply not true. It's not grounded in any fact or reality. The excavation here is not going to impact anybody's water wells. They're hooking up to municipal water. If other residents want municipal water, then they're well within their rights to request that from the town. That's not something we have the authority to do. We're certainly not designing the project to prevent that. I think that covers everything that I wanted to just point out today. There was discussions of, adding this subdivision will cause contamination because of salt. The roads are salted everywhere, and not only just this subdivision. And pesticides used on lawns is a ridiculous statement because they're used on everyone's lawn. And if this was an agricultural, then how do you know that they're going to be used? It's everybody. It's just, these are things that occur at every residential property, or can occur at every residential property, is what I should have said. So to say that they're going to happen here, it's not a reasonable comment. So we will.
The public hearing is over. I hate to say this. Okay, I mean, the applicant is required to respond to all these comments in writing. And then those are reviewed by this board, by our engineer, so forth and so on. And they would be available for public, inspection after they've been submitted. They're part of the public record. So I urge you, if you have some additional comments, to use the written period before, for the 7 days after the closing of this public hearing. And if you wish to counter on some of the remarks that were said, that's fine. But that's the way we're going to have to do it at this point. All right? Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Do we have an opportunity to bring up some issues if they're right now? Does anybody have any comments that they wish to make to the applicant at this point? I mean, you've heard all the comments from the public, heard the response here a little bit. There is a couple things that I just want to clarify. You made a comment about traffic on Spring Avenue and Crick Road. Those comments were directed at the traffic generated by the development, not by the construction. And what I'm saying is the traffic studies that you said with the 16 additional vehicles was based on 16 new houses. It doesn't, is that correct?
No. So it's just a coincidence that the numbers work out like that. So the traffic studies were focused solely on construction.
Okay.
And it was 16 if under the most aggressive schedule that the site could be excavated 1 year. So we did 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years. I believe the math in the study was 16 or 18 trucks per hour during the hours of excavation. It's just a coincidence that there's also 16 houses. So I see.
I thought you were, to be honest with you, I thought you were confusing me, at least, as far as the traffic generated by the new development.
And I apologize if I did confuse you, but the traffic study and the traffic impacts we were discussing were from excavation, not the resulting subdivision.
That's fine. I've been known to be confused a few times, so don't take it to heart. Now, there was one other question I had. I would have to assume, there was a question, I believe, brought up about there hasn't really been any determination on the route that these trucks would travel during this excavation. Has there been any progress as far as reaching out to contractors to find out where this material will be going?
Yeah, there have been preliminary discussions on the topic. Nothing set in stone yet, but as we discussed previously, the most reasonable route still appears to be basically to come off Spring on a spring. So nothing's been set in stone yet with a particular location.
You say go down Spring, right? And go down towards the city of Troy or out towards Posting Hill?
Either would be an option, but most reasonable route would be to shoot out Spring Avenue to the east to 355.
I mean, we obviously have agreed that Sharp Road is not an option, no matter what.
I
We wa-
believe we also agreed that Creek Road is not an option. correct?
Yeah, we
From
did, we did
last-
discuss specifically Sharp due to the nature of the road. They did analyze when the traffic consultant looked at the plans, they did look at Creek Road as well to evaluate if that could handle the traffic if need be. And basically it was mathematically dropping the bucket compared to the capacity of Creek Road. But with the likely routes now, it does appear that Spring Ave would be the route.
There was a comment made about damage to the road, bonding the road. The damage to Crick Road for that short section that goes from your entranceway, whether it be a construction entranceway, would enter onto Crick Road and then go up to Spring Avenue. I would expect that there would probably be some talk about placing a bond on that road if there was damage to it. That is a town road, I believe, isn't it? Or did we determine that?
I believe they're both
County road?
Yeah.
So,
Has anything been given to the county, maps or anything that they can review, which route or anything like that?
Yeah, I believe it was sent to the county back when the application was deemed complete. Yeah, I think it was sent to the county when the application was deemed complete. So that would have been over a year ago at this point in time, I believe.
You got
So
comments? from
we
the
can
county?
follow up. No, we have not. So, but we can certainly follow up with the county highway specifically on the questions that have been brought up tonight. So we're happy to do that and report back to the board.
all right. Okay, I have no other questions. Does, Chris, do you have any comments that you'd like to make here?
Nothing that hasn't been covered by.
Okay. Wayne, do you wish to make any comments at this point?
You haven't changed the plan at all since the last time this was presented to the board?
That's correct. Nope, it's exactly as was presented. I have to look at the revision date on the plan set, but nothing's been changed. So still the 18 lots meet zoning. I know there's some discussion earlier about zoning and size of lots. So the parcel splits on the west side of the road here. It is A25 zoning, R25, which is 25,000 square foot lots. On the east side is A40, which is 40,000 square foot lots. All the lots are compliant with the A40, the more restrictive zoning. So every lot is over 40,000 square feet. Just thought that was worth noting as well.
Do you have an estimate on the excavation for each building that's being built, or is that built into your number? So for every house that's built, the excavation required for that and the property itself, the parcel, is that built into this number, or is that will be in addition to?
Yes, I believe we provided that at a prior meeting. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but I want to say it was between 200 and 400 yards per foundation. But we can certainly circle back with that.
I have one more question.
Please.
Since we haven't seen any of the Well, I haven't anyways, the water lines in that, how far they extend on Creek Road?
Mhm.
Is there a possibility that it could be extended a ways to at least pick up the closer neighbors?
So
Or they can tap in?
if I can rotate this to show you, is that okay? So on the full plan sets, this is, a presentation drawing. On the full plan set, we show the water line extends up here on Creek, so it would hit a handful of neighbors. And then it makes a right and it follows up the proposed road with fire hydrants in locations requested by the local fire department. So I think it is within reason. We're proposing a T there, so someone could always extend that if the need arose. Again, with wells, I would think we're proposing a water district extension for this parcel. So each other property owner would have to request to get into the water district. That's a town process. But it's certainly possible for people to tap in and extend as they saw fit to that water line. Without a doubt, these homes being provided public water, they're not drawing wells from the groundwater, right? So it shouldn't really be affecting any of the surrounding wells
Will
as
there
far as
be a
water
hydrant
usage.
at the end of the line?
There will be, yep, for flushing purposes, but yes. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Russ, we did get a comment from the fire department. They're requesting a storage fitting installed on the fire hydrants if this project moves forward. I'll just give you a copy of that.
Please. Thank you.
Okay.
There were two adjacent owners who discussed access to parcels beyond this project. Have you considered any of those previous to this discussion here tonight?
Myself, no, but that's certainly something that we're happy to have the applicant discuss with the adjacent parcel owners.
Would you consider extending the water line to the end of your property through the wetlands up the Creek Road as part of the development?
Up
Yeah.
in this location. That's something we can discuss with the applicant, if that's okay.
All right.
And report back to the board. So are you thinking?
Well,
an extension?
yes, I mean, obviously, the people right across the street and maybe the one a little bit further up Creek Road would be able to tap into that line.
Mhm.
But I think from what I'm saying is there's a lot of people that are concerned about when you excavate all this property, that it may change their wells. And I was going to suggest if you could extend that line all the way to the end of your property into that wetlands area on Creek Road, all the way up to there, and have that available for anybody that wishes to tap in further up Creek Road.
Do you know what that distance is from your entrance to that tip?
To here,
1,000 feet?
I'm going to approximate, yeah, there's 180 feet. So 180. You're probably 700 feet in that neighborhood. It's not calibrated, but it's close.
I mean, would you think that's a reasonable request?
Yeah, we're happy to discuss that with the applicant.
All right.
Yeah. We heard the concerns about the neighbors. Again, from the soil testing that was done on the site and the deep hole test done on the site, water level seems to be basically, the wetlands are there for a reason. That appears to be the groundwater level on the site. So not foreseeing any changes to wells and whatnot, but we're certainly happy to discuss that extension with the applicant.
Is there going to be any change to those wetlands if you take that hill out of there?
No, there's going to be no disturbance to the wetlands.
Okay.
No, we're not proposing any wetland disturbance. In fact, there's a 100-foot buffer here for disturbance. So there's no disturbance within 100 feet of the edge of the wetland, actually.
And that's a DEC report.
That is DEC, correct?
That's not Corps of Engineers. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is there a composition of the soil you're removing though? Have you done any studies to see of the majority of all the soil you're removing? What is it? There's a difference between, dirt and gravel and stone and shale.
Yes,
What-
yeah.
What's in there?
Yeah, so everyone's description seems to be a little bit different, but it's going to be a mix of loam, silt loam. There's some sand, and there's some like a well-graded gravel in the area. So there's a pretty good mix of soils on the
We don't
site.
anticipate shale, or we might have to bring in
We don't
heavier
anticipate shale.
equipment or.
No, we don't anticipate shale. Yeah, the depot testing. Yeah.
All right, I think we've kind of exhausted
Okay.
the topic tonight. Obviously, you're going to be required to do a full written response to the comments. When do you think you'll have that ready?
Well,
It seems
the
to me
comment
like
period
there's,
extended for 7 days, right?
yeah,
So next meeting is in 2 weeks.
2 weeks is going to be on the 19th.
Okay.
I would suggest that maybe we put you on the agenda for the following meeting. Because if you have written comments, you only have about a week to prepare all these. And I think we want a little bit more time to
Would you want
review
more
them. If
time
you
to
want to
review 'em?
bring them to the meeting, you be on the meeting on the 19th, you can present them.
Okay.
But that's up to you. Where do you want to be?
Do you mind putting us tentatively for the 19th? And if we can follow up with the board, reach out to the building department earlier in the week, if that's okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. So
Thank
you're
you.
tentatively on for the 19th.
Thank you.
All right. Do
Thank
you
you
have
for
any
your time.
questions for us at this point? You're all set, Wayne? Okay. And I think we're done for tonight.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you for your
gentlemen.
time.
Okay. Okay, second on our agenda is the Tranquility Bookshop. And as you're coming up here, I believe we got a new drawing, site plan drawing. I know there was some changes, Jacob, that had to be made to this from the last meeting, some additions. If you could just go through those, if you would, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Jacob Keesby here with Gilchrist to represent Tranquility Bookshop. Site plan hasn't changed very much since the last submission in the public hearing. We did add the zoning note as requested from the engineer, as well as we added some residential style lampposts to cut down on, or to, rather not to cut down, but to increase or keep the residential style of the area. And that's just the light the parking area. Those are the two major changes that we made. Andy also submitted comments from our public hearing.
Yep.
And that's about all I have as far as the site plan is concerned.
Okay, Andy, you want to just kind of go through those
Sure.
comments or
Yep.
responses?
So reviewing the comments received at the public hearing, we did submit written responses on 4 topics: on traffic generation and safety, on noise generation, the county's comment on adding the walkway from the existing sidewalk up to the front entrance, and lighting. Regarding traffic generation, we indicate there is the existing curb cut. Fortunately for the site, there is the center turn lane opposite the existing curb cut that will not result in any backup on 7 getting in and out of the site. We have 8 parking spots plus the handicap spot, adequate parking on site for the proposed use, compliant with the town parking requirements. There were comments received about parking on the shoulder of Hoosick or across the street on Wyman, but we think the proposal does provide adequate off-street parking to alleviate those concerns. Given the size and scope of the project, there was a comment about a traffic report being undertaken, we submit that given, again, the size and scope of the project and the location, not in the B15, but rather up in the business light area, that a full traffic study wasn't warranted on this application, and hope that the board concurs. There was a comment on noise generation. We've addressed that in terms of the anticipated construction impacts. Obviously, we will be grading and putting in the parking lot. There will be a new front porch constructed. The only other exterior work is in the rear of the property. The construction noise, to the extent there is any off-site noise impacts, will be limited to, we hope that the full renovation is 6 to 9 months. Obviously, the end use as a bookstore is not anticipated to generate any significant noise. We talked extensively about the additional walkway. From the sidewalk up to the front entrance, there are some site constraints, including the location of the septic tank in the front. We will have the additional new walkway up to the front porch. As Jake said, we did add a residential style lamp post here that will light up the front walkway. We'll have a light underneath the new front porch. So if folks are going to be walking in the sidewalk and want to come in, as we discussed, there is an adequate spot here. We don't suggest striping that or painting that, but there is going to be adequate area to walk here, as the customers will be walking from their cars to this area as well to get to the front sidewalk. So we're not proposing that additional walkway for those reasons. And lastly, on lighting, as Jake said, we have continued to have the wall-mounted light on the east side of the building, hoping that addresses lighting within the 3 or 4 spots located on the south side of the parking lot. We've added 2 residential style lamp posts for lighting of the 4 spots on the northern side of the parking lot. They all are on site. The 2 additional lamp posts are directly adjacent to the parking lot, and the one we've added here is adjacent to the walkway. And we're proposing that does adequately light the parking area as well as the front walkway without creating any off-site light spillage. And the wall mounted would be a standard wall-mounted light for those parking spots. And hope that addresses fully the public comments.
Okay. And you will have landscaping in front of the parking lot to shield any headlight wash across the.
Correct. We show lines of
Yeah.
trees here along that edge of parking.
Refresh my memory on this distance on this corner here to the lot line, the corner of the parking lot. Remember, we had some discussion about that.
This corner here.
Yeah.
Yes. Depending on how it's laid in there, it'll be 2 to 3 feet from that property.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any questions?
And if I could add for the record, I did receive a call from Lori Schindler this week. I spoke to her this week. It was a very pleasant call. She's very happy to have a bookshop next to her. We did talk about the parking lot, and quite frankly, we're going to coordinate, as I will coordinate with the neighbor on the west side as well. But it was very nice to hear from her, and she's looking forward to our bookshop next to her realtor office. And sends her regards to everyone on the board.
Okay. All right. Wayne, do you have any questions? Okay.
I'd like to make a couple comments about the sidewalk, number 3 here. From what I've witnessed, I also walk sidewalk with my wife, and during the winter, there are only 2 females that walk that all winter that live in Springbrook area. And we are friends. Their daughters went to school with my daughters, so I know who they are. And they're the only ones that walk during the winter there with their dog, of course. And far as, I know last meeting, it was brought up about people parking in the road and on Wyman. The only reason they did park there is because this house here, probably twice a month during the summer, would have garage sales. Now, I feel this is the best use. I have lived from Roosevelt Ave to Arming Hall for 50-plus years, and I feel this is the best use that we can possibly get for this area of the town.
We appreciate that.
All right, then we can move forward.
Russ, I do have one comment from the fire department as well. They're
All right.
requesting a Knox box be installed.
Okay. All right. Okay, with that being said, I will,
I'll make a negative.
okay, there's a negative declaration under seeker.
First order of business will be to issue a secret determination.
Yep.
Second.
Okay, we're in the seeker determination. Okay. We have a second. Is there any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, we have actually two things we have to have a motion for. One is for the site plan review acceptance and the special use permit. Which should we do first?
Probably site plan.
Okay.
I don't think it matters, but I'm gonna go for the site plan.
Do we have to do that parking lot corner also with that?
So I think built into your approval of the site plan, if you're exercising discretion to.
I just wanna make sure
modify
that-
requirement, so it's a good point, but no, you don't have to separately vote on it. It's baked into your approval of the site.
Okay. Are you going to make a motion to approve the site plan
To approve the site plan
with that,
with that contingency or whatever we want to call
With
it.
the understanding that the board recognizes that parking, I think the number was 7 feet. Correct.
It was less than the 7 feet.
Correct, that is less than, and by approving that, you're essentially exercising your discretion to modify that requirement. So the motion is to approve the site plan as presented.
and do we need to also include in the approval the recommendation by the fire company for a Knox box? I think we should.
I think we should,
Yeah, okay.
conditioned upon the applicant.
Providing a Knox. Okay. Is there any other conditions that anybody wishes to entertain at this point? Okay, do I have a second on that motion? I don't recall.
I'll second.
A second. Okay, is there any further discussion on the site plan motion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now on the special use permit. Who would like to make a motion to accept the,
I'll make a motion to accept that special use permit.
okay? Is there any contingencies or things that should be added to that?
Did we
I don't
want to
believe so.
stipulate the hours of operation? Or,
I think those were part of the site plan, weren't they? Or not?
they're not? They're part
Hours of
our
operation
discussion.
were included in the site plan?
Well,
Application?
Yeah, we've included that in the record. I mean, generally, I'm not sure they're finally set, but generally, 10 to 4, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with the exception of Fridays, maybe 6 to 7 p.m. No Sunday, and right now, probably no Monday, so Tuesday through Saturday.
Why don't we extend it to make it Monday through Saturday? and
Monday
then-
through Saturday,
Yeah.
generally 10 a.m. to 4 a.m., exception of Friday, 4 p.m., exception of Fridays to 6 or 7 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the other point real quick is the board does have the ability to require periodic renewal of the special use permit. We can have the applicant apply for a renewal, or you don't have to have a renewal provision, just be ever, if I want to at least point that out. I'm not sure what the board's practice has been in the past with special use permits. If you always put in every 3 years or 5 years for renewal, or you only do those in certain cases.
I think the reason why we needed a special use permit on this application is because of the excess of 100 square feet. And I'm finding that to be minor. And therefore, I don't
No
see,
renewal provision is warranted.
right? It's not like we're extending something out
I agree with
far
that.
beyond what it.
And should the site plan for anything of the use change, we'd have to come back for a special use permit again.
Right.
Okay. All right. Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second
Okay, is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
it.
Any opposed? I think you're all set.
Thank you.
Good luck.
You want the
Okay.
You guys keep a couple copies, right?
This is the latest one. You can have one now.
I'll leave a couple with you, so we have.
Yeah,
All right.
We'll keep the ones that are signed.
The meeting minutes. Meeting minutes from the last.
We'll take a break from the agenda to do some housekeeping here. I forgot to review the minutes of our last meeting. So everybody had an opportunity to review those. And this is the meeting of January 18th, I think it was.
15.
Okay, is there anybody have any comments, additions, corrections? Okay, hearing none, I'll make a motion that the minutes be accepted as they were submitted. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving along. Monica. Okay. We get
Simple proposed minor subdivision here, 1.18 acre block, taken away from 19 acres.
Right. When you were here under new business, there was a few
Sorry,
things.
what?
When you were here under new business, that last meeting, I believe there was a few things that were missing on the drawings.
Yes.
Potential proposed house location, that type of thing. I believe Wayne has had an opportunity to review those and found them acceptable to move, proceed. Okay. So they were including, the proposed house, proposed driveway, where septic systems and wells were in relation to the adjacent properties. These are just standard things that were required on a basic drawing for a waiver. It's been reviewed. We feel that everything is adequate to proceed along. Does anybody have any questions on that? It's pretty straightforward waiver. Okay, if there is none, I will entertain a seeker determination.
I'll make a negative.
There's a second. Okay, any further discussion on the seeker? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And now on the motion to accept the waiver. Is there any Rensselaer County,
That's a town road.
is it a town road? Yes.
Rensselaer County Septic.
Yeah, Rensselaer County Septic, sewer and water.
They'll have to get approval before they build or issue a permit.
I think there's a note referring to that this just shows that there's a possibility to build there, but they would have to get the necessary permits for building as well as septic.
Correct.
Necessary.
Okay, yes, okay. Okay.
Need a driveway from the town?
They'd also require, a driveway permit from the town.
Okay. I think I just say whatever permits are necessary. So the person intends to sell it to should probably,
Yeah, they
look into that before they make the transaction or whatever.
correct.
The town of Brunswick could not issue a building permit if they do not get a permit from health department first.
Okay.
I don't know how much I may or may not be involved in this, so I was just trying to see that it could be a separate lot.
Correct. Yeah, we understand. Yep. Okay, we're at the entertaining a motion to
I'll make a
approve,
motion.
to approve.
There's no contingencies, I guess.
No contingencies at this point. Okay, do I have a second?
Conditions.
Septic and driveway.
Yeah, Rensselaer County approval before a building permit is allowed, correct? Anything else? Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? You're all set. Now, we can collect these drawings and use these to be, for the stamping. So anybody,
What is your usual procedure as far as picking up a signed copy that I could then file at the clerk's? What is it done the same night, next day? I don't want to.
Well, they have to sign first. Once they sign, we'll reach out to them and
Yeah.
get you a copy.
Okay.
it probably won't be
I'm
done
leaving
tonight.
Wednesday. I didn't know if it was possible to get it filed at the county clerk's before I leave. If it's not, it's not.
You're leaving on Wednesday?
For a month to Arizona.
I think,
So if
we-
it's not,
I think we can do that. Yeah, we'll at least have them probably ready by Monday. Okay.
so maybe tomorrow I could step there.
Yeah, if they sign it tonight, you can come tomorrow.
Very good, thank you. And
Okay.
if you guys have tomorrow,
Pass those on.
that'd be great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's all right.
Okay. Okay.
You need me?
Next on our agenda is Kyle Smith. Did I see Mark Danskin?
Yeah, he was here.
Yeah, I thought I saw him
Poked his
slide.
head in for a minute.
Just waiting, but I mean, he only drew up these maps. It's not really. I mean, if you want him standing up here, I suppose. He's floating around. He might be suing or something.
Do we want him here?
It's up to you.
Is he charging you by the hour?
He's not- I don't want him to charge me.
Well, I'm going to turn the floor over to Wayne because he has reviewed some of these things and we had a conversation today. And he's got some questions and possible.
You want this one? Mike? Wait. This is on.
Would you like my copy?
Alfred, mine.
First comment I have is on the environmental assessment form. One correction that has to be made. 13 on page 2 of 3. It says, "Is any portion of the site of proposed action or limits adjoining the proposed action between wetlands or other water bodies regulated by the federal, state, or local agency?" Yes.
Page 2 of 3.
2 of 3.
Item 13.
Site of the proposed action or lands adjoining. I guess that's probably the part I missed. I don't believe there's any wetlands on. There is the creek that runs through. Does the creek count as wetlands?
Or lands adjoining the proposed.
No,
action.
lands adjoining. Maybe that's the part I missed. It's certainly,
Strips around.
1685, and then, yeah, everything west.
State wetlands.
Everything west of there,
Then
it's
you have
the
federal wetland.
it's the headwaters of the deep kill.
The creek.
Yep. So does the creek count as wetlands, or is that a creek?
Yep.
Okay. Wetlands is wet, not swamp.
Wetlands could be anything, doesn't have to be wet.
Okay,
The soils and the vegetation say it's wetlands. And
sure.
whether it's over there or not.
Yeah. It's pretty sharp banks there, so I'm just thinking, just creek, wetlands, but I could have been, okay. So I'll amend
But
that.
your action does not physically alter or encroach into any existing wetlands. So that will stay.
Okay.
I went through the site plan regs and kind of took a look at this site plan. We're missing some things that we need to have on the site plan.
Okay.
One is a small scale location map. There's a location map of different scale to show where you are in relation to the surrounding area.
Yep.
There are no contours on here. Notice an existing foundation and I drive by it every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's graded, it's, yeah. Mark and just throw, you're not changing any of the grading, correct?
Nope.
So you get some contours on here.
Sure.
Some elevation. I'd like to see where you're getting your power from.
Okay.
Is there power to that site already?
No.
You going overhead?
Yep.
Underground?
Overhead.
Is it off of Deep Kill or off of Route 7?
I would imagine it's off the deep kill. There's an old line that went to the old hotel
Okay.
that's already overhead. It crosses this site. It just crosses 1691, this site.
So there's a pole like a service.
There's a pole
on this
directly,
site?
there's a pole directly across Deep Kill, in front of the, small one-car garage that's over there. That had, it's a, lead that comes out, transformer, I'm sure they can capture
That's the
that.
only utilities you're gonna have.
Yeah.
You got a well septic.
So you want to see where the power's coming in on the map too?
Yeah. I was a little confused of what the circulation, the traffic is like everybody coming off of Route 7?
Yes.
So your ingress and egress is on Route 7.
Mm-hmm.
So you should probably show that on the map, arrow in, arrow out.
Sure.
Are you gonna use the curb cut on Deep Kill at all?
Nope. I don't know, I'm not gonna use it at all. I don't know the legalities of it, but I'd like to, I wish it was a curb again, I would do that if I was allowed, or if it
But
was.
you're awful close to Route 7, that's the only thing.
Yeah,
Driving is off Deep Kill, but less than 100 feet.
yeah.
Actually,
What's the concern there?
You come in and out of Route 7.
Yeah.
We're so close.
Yeah, I don't want to come out and out on Deep Kill at all. I don't think that closed off, no one needs to be driving
So you
around the
should-
building.
Yeah, kind of make that clear on the site plan.
Okay.
For your access.
So close the curb cuts. There's another curb cut that I'm closing as well.
Yeah,
In front of the
right
parking spots.
Right where the parking is.
Yep.
You're not proposing to close that up, or I think you're just
Exactly, yeah.
gonna.
It's already essentially abandoned. I mean, it's grass. It doesn't look like a driveway. It just happens to be a curb cut.
Your parking is right up against the property line.
Yep.
You require 7 feet between the edge of the parking and the property line.
Sure.
So if you want relief from that, the board's got,
Board has the discretion.
has the discretion to give you relief.
Yep. Yeah, the parking is about 12 feet or so from the curb. You had some really nice verbiage I heard earlier regarding the board, their discretion with parking. Can't recall it exactly, but I liked it.
I liked it.
How far from the, that's got that, your 10-foot shoulder from the edge of pavement to your parking? That patch of
It's about 12 feet.
about 12 feet?
Yeah.
So technically, you do have some green space there.
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It's up to the board.
Yeah, I mean, I know it, what's been there previously really is no bearing on what we're doing now, but.
That's where it
So
was
as we-
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it the way it is.
You're on a good side now, but
Yeah.
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 At a future date.
we're having a conversation.
Okay.
You don't have to change the maps.
Anything else, Wayne?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Is this something that maybe,
I can put this all in writing. I just didn't have time.
well, what I'm thinking of is just, maybe get with Mark Danskin.
He walked in.
Oh, you snuck in on me.
Snuck in.
I'm writing it down too.
Oh, you're writing it all down? There you go. Okay. Then disregard that comment.
Nowhere on this map does it say what the size of the parcel is. Look, it's in the application.
Should be a survey with it.
I'd like to see a table of the zoning bulk area requirements. What the zone is, what the setback requirements are, and you can say that you've got variances on those setbacks. Should have a table on here. Zoning bulk area requirements. Are you proposing any lighting? Just on the building?
Just on the building.
You're going to have wall packs or something on the building?
Yeah, small residential style, not,
Something to shine just so people that park,
correct.
yeah, somebody come by.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of what this building is going to look like?
Yep. Previously, did I not submit that to you guys?
It was the zoning board. had
Was it zoning?
Yeah.
Okay, I do.
You could provide that to the planning board so they can see which way you
Yeah, I don't have them on me tonight.
Is it elevation views?
Yep. Yep, all sides.
That's all I have.
What type of business is this going to have?
Something I meant to say at first, but I'll say it now, and then I'll address that. Again, I addressed it at the last meeting. It said, we had mentioned it as 2-story. This is not 2-story. I want to clarify this. I corrected that last meeting, but it made it onto the agenda for the evening as a 2-story again.
Yeah.
This is not 2 stories.
Okay.
Says it right on.
Says it right on the map here, one
Does it?
story, yes.
One says 1 story.
Yes.
Yeah, I just, we're heading towards a public hearing, right, at some point. And two-story and one-story are a lot different, so I want to make sure.
It's right on here, proposed one-story frame office with carport.
Yeah, but on the agenda on the town website, it said two-story.
Okay.
And it was also introduced as two-story at the last meeting, which, I just don't want anybody to get the wrong impression. Regarding the business it is, it's just a private office space for a construction manager.
Okay.
The one comment too that Bill Bradley had as the MS4 coordinator was if he's gonna add that 10-foot carport, I guess you'd call it.
Yep.
He wants him to get a DEC permit for that.
Regarding that, I met with Bill Bradley, and you said you were gonna kind of work through the building department about what you thought DEC was important. I got ahead of it, I had contacted DEC, Will Buto, who Bill Bradley had recommended to me in the past, and I have exchanged a few emails with him. I don't want to speak out of turn, but he indicated he didn't think it was going to be an issue, but he is waiting for his analyst to get back to him. He was hoping to get back today, they didn't. I was hoping to be able to come and say, no issue with DEC, but I have reached out to DEC. So, yeah, he's going to provide me with a letter from DEC saying, stating that they don't have an issue with it.
Okay.
There's not gonna be anything parked in the yard, like construction trailers
No.
or?
No big construction equipment or anything like that. No.
You're not paving it, you're gonna leave it dry.
No, they leave it gravel, yeah.
Okay.
I know issue, in the past, there'd been a lot of stuff parked there. That was an issue.
I figured it was all your stuff.
Wasn't my stuff, no. My place is neat and orderly, you've seen it.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or comments, possible additions to the drawing?
Does this have to go to county?
It has to go to county. Site plan, yeah. Has that been done yet?
No, not yet, it's not ready yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to
Completed application.
Okay.
We can make an announcement when it's going over the public hearing, then we'll send it to
Okay. You were right about the public hearing. It's required. Obviously, we don't have the right, enough information, correct information at this point. So when can you get this information on these drawings? Mark?
Topo's the baby, snow. They can,
I think I'm trying to determine whether we should put Mr. Smith on the next agenda or,
I can answer that for you. That's February vacation and I'll be out of town with the kids.
hey, works for us.
30 days.
So we'll be, when's our next meeting? It would be March 5th. Would you have that information available by March 5th, Mark?
You could run over with your loader and dig down to the ground. He could do his topos.
Sure, I could put the plow on my truck.
Yeah.
I was trying not to plow it so that people won't park it. Turn around there.
Okay, we'll put you on the agenda for the 5th of March.
5th of March.
Now, if we decide at that point, just to give you a rough timeline, that we have enough information to schedule the public hearing, the letter to the county will go out, and the public hearing would probably not be scheduled to the first meeting in April. All right? We skip one because of notification type procedures.
Yeah, I had one for zoning too. Nobody showed, so I'm not too.
Okay. All right. And we will see you on the 5th.
No father-in-law.
Russ, the fire department is requesting a Knox
I
box for this
intentionally left them
project
off
as well.
Okay.
off the mailing list because of conflict of interest.
Do you hear that?
No, I'm sorry.
You're required
Fire
to
department request.
Knox box for that structure as well.
Knox box.
So they can open it up if there's a fire.
It's a vault that's gonna go on the building that'll have a key to the building.
Sure.
The fire department has one in their fire truck.
Gotcha.
that they can, it's secure, but they can release it so they don't have to beat your door in if there's a.
Breaker windows, stuff like that.
I'm not taking money.
Okay.
All right, then we'll see you on the 3rd.
Yeah, you never know. We don't get to break in anymore. It's no
We're
fun.
good.
5th of March, right? You said 3rd. You mean
5th of March, yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. As I previously stated, number 5 was National Grid. They have chosen to be placed on a future agenda. And now number 6 is Fisher. Is that you, Mark? Okay, this is a minor subdivision. And I believe there was just a couple things that the private road maintenance agreement has already been reviewed and accepted. There was a couple things on the drawing, wasn't there?
I added the note to reference the agreement. That was one of the things.
Okay.
And, the other thing was
Turn around.
modified SWIFT sediment control plan. Correct.
Yeah.
Disturbance. You said it one more time. Modified SWIFT include
Erosion and sediment control. We're gonna put some details on there and show on the plan where the.
would you like it as a sheet 4, or would you like it as an, like, just a
Probably should be on a
attachment?
separate sheet. Your erosion
I'm
sediment
definitely,
control plan should-
I'm giving it to the engineer.
I'd recommend.
Yeah. I'm a surveyor. So do you think 4 sheets, or is it just kind of a extra?
You can do it all in.
No, I mean, should I add it to the submission, or is it just
It
like
should
an
be part of it.
attachment? Part of the
Should be part of
submission?
the submission.
So that'd be sheet 4. Very good.
So do we need that before we deem the application complete?
I'd like to see that plan before we deem it complete.
Okay.
The SWIFT paperwork can come later.
Steve Dean, I'm sure, is pretty familiar with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's who our engineer is.
Yeah, I mean, you can use standard details for sediment erosion control. Just gotta show it.
Okay.
And then you can follow up with forms for the SWIFT.
So do you want to see that before the plans are complete?
Yep.
I would like to see that.
Very good.
Okay. And I assume you'll have that ready by our next meeting.
I'm hoping so, yeah.
Which
I
is-
can't honestly say because I am not doing the work. I don't know how busy Steve is, but I should think he could get that out. But
Okay. And our next meeting is scheduled for the 19th.
Can you refresh my memory? Did we get enough information on the site distance from the proposed road at Tamarack?
Site distance on Tamarack Road. We talked about that.
site distance right is 960, and left is 600.
And that's a 45 mile an hour? Thank you.
No, that's,
I'm just cleaning my office.
isn't that like 55 from there?
Or-
You might ride 55.
Hopefully the monitors and
No.
You've got, if you're from New Jersey and Vermont, saving time.
Okay. I think we're all set for tonight.
Very good.
See you on the 19th,
With the erosion control plan.
and then we will schedule, this is, there's a public hearing required on this one.
Yeah, but you didn't schedule that tonight.
We
You wanna
can't.
See the whole plan.
That's correct.
Very good. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. That concludes our agenda. We don't have anything under new business, is that correct? A couple of things under old business. I know people are asking about CBE North America. That remains an active site. We have heard from them recently. And that remarks were, they're still working on the plans. And they're also working on, I assume, the scoping for the POS deck. But, yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is this still remains an active application. And
Yeah, they have not, they have not said anything otherwise to us.
yes, I know there's things going around the town that they have pulled out. We have heard nothing.
Keep in mind too that AT&T and Mavis was pushed to the 19th.
Yep.
Keep that in mind for your next meeting.
Okay. So that's all I have to report on our new business. Is there any other new business? Okay, let's review our agenda. On the 19th, we have Paramount coming back, tentatively. We have, well, National Grid is they haven't scheduled anything yet, so I'm not going to put them on the agenda. And then we have Fisher, which is the one that Mark just presented. And then we have Mavis and AT&T.
But they're new business. You haven't seen them yet?
What's that?
They're still under new business.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
they're-
yeah, yes.
AT&T would be.
AT&T was actually, we actually brought them in front of you to start the ball rolling, so they're technically old business, but
So AT&T
they're
is
bringing more
third and
information.
Mavis is new business.
Mavis is new.
Davis, yeah, that's new. So actually, on the official agenda, there's only Paramount and Fisher
And AT&T.
and AT&T.
So one thing I wanted to discuss with the board too was Golden Grain. They're going in front of the ZBA for extending the size of their side porch, as you recall.
Yeah.
So it does modify their site plan. Does this board want to see that after the ZBA rules, whether they rule in favor of the client? Does this board want to see that application back? Do they need to modify, approve the site plan because they expanded the size of that?
It's an improved site plan.
Yeah.
I think you want to come back.
Okay. To approve the increased size and the,
Correct, so that we have something that's an approval that reflects what is going to be there,
Okay.
that is there.
okay. So we'll
Would
have
that,
to
would
wait-
that
we'll have to
consequent,
wait for
would a second public hearing on that be up to discretion of the board?
What's the scope of the change, the magnitude?
They increased the size by, I want to say, 3 feet, Wendy? I think the foundation is 3 feet wide, but the other issue is the overhang of the structure is nearly or encroaching on the town property because they're very close to the right of way.
So let's cross that bridge when the application comes in and we get back on the agenda. If it's a relatively de minimis change to the site plan, I would probably suggest it doesn't require a new public hearing, but we'll see what it is. And then we'll-
All right. Anything else, Mark or Kevin?
No, not that I can.
Okay. All right, then, I think we're all set.
Russ, this one was on the last meeting. Did they cancel?
No, that was approved.
That was already done, right?
Yeah, the Dujac,
Okay,
Dujac was,
I
that
had
was
it.
approved at the last meeting.
all right.
Yeah.
I had it circled for this one for some reason. I knew they weren't on the agenda. I wasn't sure what happened.
That's fine, that's fine. Better to check it out. Other than that, I don't have anything else, so I will make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
So you guys have something to sign.
Yeah,
Last
figured it would be.
We want to do the,
Well, there's two things to sign,
Monica?
right? There's,
I figured, and I'm on my steer. So, if National Grid was here, we'd still be here.
2023
yeah.
Flooding event?
If Niagara Mall had been here, we would have- There was nobody that could have been left when he said National Grid wasn't gonna be here, though. That was the problem. And I'm like, oh. I think we all know
I
it's
put another maps in the folder.
yeah, I noticed that too.
Or they were all just gonna talk about both projects and really double whammy.
Well, actually, there was a couple letters that referenced both projects.
Yes.